Hello, my name is Bridget Wickstrand, and I'm a psychology student here at the University of San Diego. Today, I'm going to be talking about one of the most prevalent societal injustices in the United States today. This is the strikingly disparate outcomes in our educational system. While most of us here have benefited from academic support and have had the opportunity to attend college, many others do not have this privilege. Millions of high school students are at risk of dropping out, many of whom come from low-income and/or minority backgrounds. Many attempts to reform this achievement gap have had little success. In the words of former U.S. Secretary of Education Arne Duncan, despite the encouraging progress we've seen, wide opportunity and achievement gaps continue to hurt many families, which puts our nation's economy and future at risk. So clearly, educational inequities have enormous consequences for society as a whole. But what if I told you that a simple mindset shift could have a significant impact on academic outcomes? This research set out to do exactly that. So what exactly is this mindset shift I'm referring to? Educational reforms that address students' psychological experience might be approached in the following ways. First, growth mindset interventions target students' beliefs about intelligence by instilling in them the belief that intelligence is malleable, that it can grow as students work hard to overcome academic challenges. Previous studies in which students have received growth mindset interventions had encouraging outcomes, such as raising college students' GPAs or increasing the math grades of low-achieving 7th graders. A second type of intervention targets students' sense of purpose. These interventions encourage students to ask themselves how working hard and learning in school can have meaningful impacts beyond themselves, whether it be making a difference in their communities or being a role model for their peers. In this way, sense of purpose interventions promote sustained motivation and, as a result, academic achievement. The present study sought to replicate these outcomes by implementing interventions in a large sample of schools. Researchers predicted that these interventions would improve grades and satisfactory completion rates in core subjects, including English, math, science, and social studies, particularly for underachieving students. In short, the study aimed to discover if academic mindset interventions improve educational outcomes. To do this, the type of intervention was manipulated so that students either received a growth mindset intervention, a sense of purpose intervention, a combination of the two, or they were part of one of two control groups. So, students in grades 9 through 12 from a wide range of geographical locations, socioeconomic conditions, and school types, whether it be private, public, or charter, participated in this study. Those receiving the growth mindset intervention read an article about the brain's ability to grow as a result of hard work and perseverance. They then summarized findings in their own words and gave advice to a hypothetical student who was becoming discouraged by school. Students in the control group read and completed similar tasks, but the materials focused on localization of brain function. Thus, they were lacking the important message that intelligence is malleable. On the other hand, students receiving the sense of purpose intervention completed written responses reflecting on how they wish the world would be a better place and their personal goals and how working hard in school could help them achieve these goals. Students in the second control group were asked to describe how high school had made their lives different, and they answered a similar question to the sense of purpose group, except this question framed economic self-interest as the reason for working hard in school. Finally, some students completed a combination of the growth mindset and sense of purpose exercises. Students' academic outcomes were measured based on their GPAs and satisfactory grades at the end of the semester. So following the semester, researchers analyzed students' GPAs, focusing specifically on those students at risk of dropping out. So these were students at the bottom third of the sample. They found an interaction between risk of dropping out and each intervention condition. These interactions were significant for the growth mindset and sense of purpose groups. Interestingly, students in the combination group did not show greater improvements in GPA, possibly because the two psychological messages weren't integrated. As we can see in this graph, intervention group students were significantly more likely to earn satisfactory grades in core classes. Remember, that's English, math, science, and social studies, than students in the control group. Importantly, students in the intervention group, this is all interventions combined, showed significant increases in satisfactory completion rates, while those in the control group showed no change. These findings were consistent with previous research that documented positive educational outcomes as a result of these interventions. So in this study, as predicted, both types of interventions increased GPA and satisfactory grades in core classes, specifically for underperforming students. And to summarize, promoting growth mindset and encouraging students to find a sense of purpose may enhance academic achievement, especially at students at risk of dropping out. These results have important implications for future educational reforms. Such interventions potentially provide a feasible way to decrease disparate educational outcomes. However, in order to build on the findings of the present study, some issues with the research must be addressed. For example, the schools participating in the study were recruited through phone calls and presentations. Then teachers within the chosen schools were recruited by a study coordinator. So clearly a convenient sample was used. Also, the data analysis only focused on underperforming students, so it is unclear whether the interventions would be effective for students who already have academic support. And because academic outcomes were only analyzed immediately after the semester relevant to the intervention, it is unclear whether or not the intervention had long-term effects on students' academic achievement. Thus, it would be beneficial for future research to incorporate a longitudinal design to examine a potential lasting impact on students' academic growth. A follow-up study could expose students to the different interventions starting in middle school, for example, and track students' progress over the course of high school and potentially even college. And over this period of time, they would continue to present either growth mindset or sense of purpose ideas to the students. So, we have seen the benefits that growth mindset and sense of purpose interventions can provide to at-risk students. It is time to continue the implementation of such programs in schools across the U.S. It is time to invest in our students, our future change makers, our future doctors, lawyers, politicians. It is time to invest in them in hopes of a better future for this country. Thank you.